For years I've been trying to get my hands on a Janome 680 or 672. The reason being I wanted something that fit in my treadle table. It could attach to my servo motor, but also had reverse stitches. Now, I'd heard very good things about this particular machine. The first thing is it's all aluminium, so it's very light, which is surprising. There are a few plastic bits inside, but not really in the major drivetrain. So the bobbin gears, they're metal. Most of the stuff is actually metal, which is encouraging. But I wanted the ability to see if this machine would run at high speed, and of course I knew it had all the reversing stitches. You'll notice here that it's been badged for the Australian market, so this machine has had quite a trip to get to me. It's come all the way from Australia, so it has 220 volt motor on it, but that doesn't matter since I've got it on my servo motor, but I also have my adapter so I can run 220. But it is absolutely a Janome 672, and I will show you it working. So what you'll notice here is some of my test stitches that I've done on it. It works really, really well. And let me put the camera on the treadle and off we go. So the first thing is this machine reminds me a lot of the 403, which I always loved. So by that I mean there's nothing built in. It will run as a straight stitch machine unless you have the zigzag cam in. So it's got quite a neat feature in that you turn it to the right, that pops open the cam door and also allows you to release the cam. So that's a really, really nice design. Here's the zigzag cam 0. And to pop it in, you just shove it in. It's super easy. You line it up at the hole with holding that in the open position, let go, and away it's all locked in place now. So what is immediately one of the things I love, it's got left, right, left, center, and right position on the needle. It says by default sew in left position. That depends on which cam you're doing and what you're sewing. But because there's no straight stitch plate for this, I will be trying to see if I can find a Kenmore plate that might fit this, because they look very similar, but we'll see. Not the end of the world right at the moment. I have machines with straight stitch plates. But in here you've got left, medium, right. Then you've got this, which when you put it on the S, you zoom in a bit and you might be able to see that better. It's an S for there. That means standard sewing. If you turn this again, you get a 1, 2, and 3. And that actually does your buttonholes. So it's a 4-step buttonhole. And it's all in the instruction book that I've got of how to do this. It also has an interesting setting, which is twin, which limits the zigzag width. So that's kind of pretty nifty. Oops, sorry. So let's see if you can see. That says twin there. Not tried it yet, I'm sure it works fine. Then you've got your stitch length here, and it's got an obvious... I like this a lot because it's really graduated down to 0, so you can lock that in precisely. I really, really like that. The zigzag width, you press these in to lock it in either left or right position, so that's kind of funky doodles. It works very, works well, and then it's locked into place at the widest zigzag there. Oops. I guess we should show you that with actually the video on camera. So you get this is your zigzag width. You can do it manually if you want, but with cams, who cares? You push these tabs in to lock it in place. That's good. And down here is your silk at 1 and your 0 for feed, dog, drop totally. So this machine is a low shank machine, even though almost all Janomes are now high shank. It is low shank, which is fine. It's got a nice high needle stroke, which does make it handy for getting quilting stuff under there. But it also runs very well at high speed, which is what I wanted a machine to do. So let me put the zigzag width at 0 so it goes in straight, and we'll go up to 2.5, which is sort of a normal, and you can hear it run. So we're in left needle position at the moment, and we'll just give us a blast so you can see it's sewing very well. At 2,900 stitches a minute. So I'm thrilled with that. I need to put the hinges on the back so it doesn't slide with the vibrations, but that's okay. So let me show you some of the, so you hear it's really lovely and quiet when it's not good doing super speed. Let's just throw some zigzag in here so you can see it working in zigzag mode. We'll go for 3. And we'll zoom in. Okay, off we go. That's just at a nice speed as that. 1,300 stitches a minute. It's faster than the motor will do. And as you can see, it gives flawless stitches, which you always expect from a Janome. I mean, they do so beautifully. So I'm really thrilled. It is oscillating hook, but as you can see, these oscillating hooks, when built well, sew really well. So it's a bit quieter sometimes, they say, with the rotary hook. However, it's all, if it sews and it does the job, beautiful. So let me show you a couple patterns in the stretch patterns. Now the first thing I can say which surprised me about this machine, it doesn't have a standard stretch. So they're all really, oops, let's see if I can get that to focus in a bit. Cam pattern 14, which is sort of this loopy thing. So let me put this in, and off we go. Oop, need to make sure we're on the longest stitch length for these fancy patterns. Okay, so let's release this. Okay, and then you can see, oops, I should have had that on the maximum stitch width, but I didn't. That's on a 3.5 rather than a 5. It's a very, very nice pattern. Let me make it a little wider so it's more interesting. Got that. Put it on the maximum stitch width. Okay, and off we go again. See if I can get you a little closer, and it means you're on top of my leg, but that's okay. This might be a little more. Oops! Let me thread up the needle. I pulled it out. So, one of the things I really like about this machine, which is quite surprising, is the threading. So they have all these metal hooks here, which are just the loop-de-loop type. And then this is really easy to thread up here. It's got a fantastic hook in here, which is super easy to use, and then the hooks over the needle are really good. So it's easy to thread. No small bits which are hard to see and use. So I really like that a lot. So let's see, make sure this is working. Okay, they're on full width now. Yeah, perfect. So okay, let's zoom back in. So I'd say this machine is happiest just below 20, maybe 2,300 stitches a minute. After that it gets a bit beastly noisy. But I mean, those are perfect stitches. You can see the flowers, and Really beautiful to sew on. So I am thrilled that I finally got one that works. So it didn't have the cams, however I was very, very fortunate on eBay that they had a set of cams. It only had the zigzag cam in it, but it can do so much more. And I'm trying to work on the one thing this machine doesn't have, which is standard stretch, which is the ability to do zigzag or straight in a stretch stitch where it goes back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. It doesn't have that, which is odd since that's sort of a basic of stretch. So you can use a zigzag, of course. It's got a multi-point zigzag. It's got, you know, a whole whack of cams here. Let's just put the crescent in for fun. So this one here, number 7. So I'm hoping to work on that, and then hopefully soon I will have the ability to sew standard stretch on here, which would be great. Okay, oh, this needs to reduce the stitch length. Doesn't miss a stitch, which is what I expect of my machines. So let me zoom out again. I mean, I love it. I'm really, 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 really pleased with this machine. Beautiful to sew on. It really does a good job. So I'm not quite sure. There is a rule in this house: if I get a new machine, then another one must leave. I'm not really sure that I'm too excited about that concept. However, this machine sews so well and it does a lot. It's hard to say what I do. I might just have to break that rule. Okay, bye for now.